You know that person who never fights, never pushes, never argues, and somehow always wins? They don't raise their voice. They don't compete. They just flow. And people trust them, follow them, open up to them. Meanwhile, you've been grinding, forcing, proving yourself, and still feeling like something's off. What do they know that you don't? Lao Tzu answered this question 2,500 years ago, and his answer was water. A person of great virtue is like the flowing water. Water benefits all things and contends not with them. It puts itself in a place that no one wishes to be, and thus is closest to Tao. A virtuous person is like water which adapts itself to the perfect place. His mind is like the deep water that is calm and peaceful. His heart is kind like water that benefits all. His words are sincere like the constant flow of water. His governing is natural without desire, which is like the softness of water that penetrates through hard rocks. His work is of talent like the free flow of water. His movement is of right timing like water that flows smoothly. A virtuous person never forces his way and hence will not make faults. What does this mean? Okay, so water. Seems simple, right? But let's actually think about what water does. Water doesn't argue with a rock. It goes around it or through it, slowly, patiently, over time. No drama, no ego. Water doesn't pick the glamorous spot. It flows down to the lowest place, the place nobody else wants. And that's exactly why it collects, gathers strength, and gives life to everything around it. Now think about the most difficult people in your life, the ones who drain you. They push, they insist, they need to be right. Everything is a battle. And now think about the people who make you feel calm just being around them. They listen. They adapt. They don't need to win. They just show up and help. Lao Tzu says those people are closest to Tao, closest to the natural flow of life. He breaks it down into 7 qualities of a water-like person. 1, they place themselves where they're needed, not where it's prestigious, like water finding its level. A good doctor goes to difficult patients. A great leader takes on the mess nobody else wants to deal with. 2, their mind is deep and calm. You can't rattle them easily. They don't react to every splash. Deep water doesn't ripple from a stone thrown from the surface. 3, their heart genuinely wants to help, not to look good, not to be thanked, just to be useful. Like water, it doesn't ask the flower, "Did I water you well?" 4, their words flow consistently and sincerely. They say what they mean. They don't perform. No gap between what they say and what they do. 5, they lead without controlling. Water doesn't boss the river around. It just moves, and everything follows. 6, they work with natural talent, like a stream that finds the path of least resistance, not laziness but efficiency, working with reality, not against it. 7, their timing is impeccable. Water doesn't rush, it doesn't stagnate, it moves when the moment is right. And the punchline? A virtuous person never forces his way and hence will not make faults, because most of our mistakes come from forcing, pushing, insisting that reality bend to our will. Water never does that, and water always wins. How to apply this in life? So how do you actually become more like water? Here are some real practical ideas. In relationships, stop trying to win arguments. Seriously. Next time you feel that urge to be right, pause. Ask yourself, what am I actually trying to accomplish here? Usually it's connection, understanding, or being heard. You can get all of that without fighting. Flow around the rock. In work and business, are you constantly pushing upstream? Forcing a product nobody wants? A strategy that's not working? A conversation that keeps going in circles? Water teaches us to read the terrain and find the natural path. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is stop forcing and ask, what's the natural direction here? In leadership, the best managers I've ever heard of are the ones who create conditions for people to thrive and then get out of the way. They don't micromanage. They don't need the spotlight. They go to the low places, the unsexy problems, the team conflicts, the details nobody else wants to handle. And because of that, people trust them completely. In personal growth, stop performing strength. Real strength isn't loud. Real confidence doesn't need to prove itself. The person who's truly secure in who they are doesn't need to dominate every room. They can be soft, adaptive, humble, and that softness is their superpower. There's a paradox here that Lao Tzu loves. The soft overcomes the hard. Water carves the Grand Canyon, not because it's strong in the traditional sense, but because it never stops, never fights, never forces. You want to be that. Chapter 8 of the Tao Te Ching is, at its heart, a love letter to humility. Not the fake humility of people who say, "Oh, I'm nothing," while secretly screaming to be noticed. Real humility. The kind that puts itself in service of others, stays calm under pressure, and never mistakes loudness for strength. Water doesn't try to be water, it just is water. The invitation here is simple, but not easy. Notice where you're forcing, notice where you're fighting reality, and ask, what would water do? Flow a little more, push a little less, and watch what changes. If this video made you think of someone, a friend going through a hard time, a colleague who's always fighting upstream, someone who could use a little more flow in their life, share it with them. Seriously, sometimes one idea at the right moment changes everything. Be that person for someone today. Thank you so much for watching. If this resonated with you, give it a like. It really helps more people find this content. And if you're new here, subscribe to Humaniac. Every day we share wisdom like this, ancient, practical, and real. Wisdom that makes life a little clearer, a little calmer, a little better. See you in the next one. Take care of yourself.